Welcome again to another episode of The Prisoner. I'm your host, Scott Apel. Tonight's episode is entitled, Do Not Forsake Me, O My Darling. It's rather a change of pace from the continual attempts by the village rulers to break the prisoner. In this episode, they need his skills as a secret agent to locate a man whose whereabouts only he knows. But obviously, they can't just let him loose on his own. Their unique compromise involves another one of their strange electronic experiments, one which also makes locating their quarry imperative for the prisoner. During his quest, we'll get some more fascinating glimpses into our hero's mind and former life. After the show, I'll be back with some more of your letters, as well as a special look at the background history of the making of The Prisoner. Please join me after the episode. Do not forsake me.
Well, it seems that the village is thwarted, but it's at best a Pyrrhic victory for our hero. He has his body back, but it's still in the village. Many of you may be wondering why Patrick McGoohan was so sparsely used in this episode. Well, the answer lies in the peculiar manner in which the series was produced. When McGoohan resigned from his role as John Drake in the Secret Agent series, his producers naturally began searching for a new vehicle that would interest their star. Secret Agent story editor George Markstein came up with a 60-page outline for a series called The Prisoner. The basic elements of the show, the isolated village, numbers replacing names, the constant attempts to deprogram an ex-agent, all came from Markstein. But because stars sell shows, not script editors, McGoohan himself took the idea to the head of ITC Productions, Sir Lou Grade, along with the budget he had developed for the occasion. Once the series went into production, publicity releases began printing stories that McGoohan was its sole creator. This is not to downplay McGoohan's role, however, because he did add many elements to the original concept. The Welsh village resort that serves as the village was his choice, for instance, as well as many details of costume and symbology. Plus, he did write and direct some of the episodes using various pseudonyms, and he was certainly the driving force behind its design and unique character. Paul McGoohan, in his role as executive producer, originally conceived The Prisoner as a 7-episode miniseries. ITC officials convinced him that selling anything less than a package of 13 episodes would be very difficult. Actual shooting began in Wales in September 1966. Episodes were shot in groups of 4 due to the expense of location filming. The first 6 weeks' work resulted in most of the footage necessary for Arrival, Free-for-All, Dance of the Dead, and Checkmate, which certainly weren't broadcast in that order. Most of the interior sets, such as Number 6's house, Number 2's chambers, and the control room, were filmed at Borehamwood Studios in England. The last episode shot was Once Upon a Time, planned as the last episode of the first season. At this point, due to creative differences between Markstein and McGoohan, Markstein left the series. He claimed that McGoohan was turning his spy thriller more and more into the allegorical puzzle we know today. ITC and Everyman Films, McGoohan's company, renegotiated their contract and decided to aim for a 17-episode season for sale to American television. During an 8-month break in filming, McGoohan left for the U.S. to star in the film Ice Station Zebra. He left his partner, director David Tomlin, to set up production of the remaining 4 episodes. There was neither the time nor the money to return to the Welsh location, so Tomlin was left with the task of arranging an episode which needed neither the village nor McGoohan. The result, Do Not Forsake Me, written by Vincent Tilsley, was a rather ingenious solution to an impossible problem. Well, we've been so busy the past few weeks talking about production, analysis, and our new episode order that we've barely had time to discuss one of the most important elements of The Prisoner, the symbology. So for the next few weeks, we'll be taking a look at some of the most noticeable symbols in the show, like, for instance, the umbrella. Throughout the series and throughout the village, these party-colored emblems are carried about and waved almost like banners. But what do they mean? Webster's Dictionary has an interesting definition for umbrella: a unifying, conditioning, stabilizing, or controlling factor or authoritative influence. Well, the village is certainly an umbrella agency in this respect, an authoritative influence controlling its residents. The word umbrella comes from the Latin word umbra, meaning shade or shadow. Village residents are certainly in the shade of its influence, and most of them are mere shadows of their former selves. From the word umbra, we also get the word umbrage, which means displeasure, resentment, or annoyance. Using this definition, we can tie the prisoner's own feelings together with the village's subtle intended meaning in a single symbol. The more literal-minded of us might see the umbrellas as protection against the rain. And indeed, there is a lot of small talk in the village about the chance of showers, but we never actually see it rain. The umbrellas then could be a kind of security blanket to remind villagers that they're under the protection of the reigning number 2. Number 2's umbrella can certainly be seen as a symbol of his office, a modern-day equivalent perhaps of a king's scepter. But number 2's never open their umbrellas, perhaps because they know the truth about the false security and ineffective protection they provide for their captive population. Next week's episode is entitled A Change of Mind and deals with the village's most vicious assault yet on the mind of our hero. And we'll be assaulting your mind with some interesting tidbits about Rover, the great white globe that polices the village. Until then, I'm Scott Apel, feeling my old self again, and I'll be seeing you